After 12 steady years of marriage, their relationship had always felt safe, predictable, and whole. There were no violent fights, no broken promises, no loud dramas, just a consistent rhythm of companionship and shared memories. She had always been gentle, nurturing, the kind of wife who made life feel a little warmer. He cherished her deeply, believed in the foundation they had built together, and never once questioned her loyalty. But all of that shifted the day she sat him down with a strange look in her eyes and brought up the idea of opening their marriage. At first, he didn't react with anger. There was no shouting or accusations. He simply looked at her, calm but focused, and started asking questions. Her tone was casual, as if she were suggesting they try a new restaurant or take a trip somewhere exotic. She explained that several of her friends had tried open marriages and claimed it was the future, a more evolved, modern approach to love in the world of 2024. It wasn't about dissatisfaction, she insisted. It wasn't about anyone in particular. She just thought maybe after all this time, they could try something different. She even said that if he wasn't comfortable, they could forget it and continue as they always had. He didn't argue. He nodded, took in her words, and told her he needed time to think. But something deep in his gut shifted. Something instinctual, primal. That night, after she'd gone to bed, he sat in the dark, wrestling with 100 unanswered questions. He didn't want to become paranoid, but doubt had crept in like smoke under a door. He began to wonder if her mind had already wandered, if her heart was already in someone else's hands. Curiosity turned into concern, and concern into quiet investigation. Over the next few days, while she showered or went for walks, he checked her phone and her laptop. Every search, every chat, every message was like a heartbeat pounding in his ears. To his surprise, he found nothing. No incriminating texts, no secret calls, no names he didn't recognize. For a moment, he felt relief. Maybe she had been telling the truth. Maybe this really was just a passing thought, not rooted in betrayal. Still, something inside him remained unsettled. The seed of distrust had been planted, and no amount of innocence could pull it out. He couldn't ignore how her suggestion had cracked something in him. How could someone even float the idea of bringing others into a marriage that was, until then, sacred? A week passed. Then one quiet evening, he told her his decision. He said he didn't believe in open marriages. He wasn't built for it. Love, for him, was all or nothing. But instead of arguing, he told her she could have the freedom she wanted. He wouldn't stop her. He would step aside. The words left his mouth with calm certainty. "You can date whoever you want because I'm done." Her response was immediate and frantic. Tears streamed down her cheeks. Her calm confidence vanished in an instant. She grabbed his hands, begging him to reconsider, swearing she still loved him and never meant to lose him. She promised she would forget the whole idea, cut ties with any friend who had influenced her. But for him, the damage was already done. Her proposal had rewritten the way he saw her, had revealed a version of her he didn't recognize, didn't trust. When she refused to leave their shared home, he moved into the guest room, placing a physical and emotional wall between them. The warmth that once filled their house turned to cold silence. She fell ill not long after, taking time off work and growing more desperate by the day. She knocked on his door at night, asking to talk, asking him to hold her, begging him to come back. But his heart was already halfway gone. Then came the final nail in the coffin. One afternoon, while she was asleep, he checked her phone again, not out of jealousy, but because his instincts still buzzed with something unresolved. This time, what he found changed everything. There were vague references in her chat logs to a second phone, a device he had never seen. Something private, hidden. The implication alone sent his chest into a spiral. And when he confronted her, she didn't even try to deny it. She admitted to owning the second phone, said she used it to talk to people outside their relationship, people she hadn't told him about. She claimed she thought he already knew, as if that somehow made it less of a betrayal. But what shattered him wasn't just a secret phone. It was what he found inside. Dozens of messages, conversations dripping with emotional intimacy. She had been confiding in another man about their marriage, venting her frustrations, fantasizing about what it would be like to be with someone else. The tone wasn't playful. It wasn't harmless. It was calculated. Emotional infidelity dressed in soft words and late-night secrets. She had been preparing for something, testing the waters before diving in. His worst fears weren't just confirmed, they were exceeded. He had trusted her, loved her, respected her, and she had taken that sacred trust and weaponized it. And yet she kept begging. She swore she'd change. She'd block the man, delete the second phone, cut off the friends who planted the seed. She said she'd burn the whole world down if it meant keeping their marriage alive. But it was too late. He couldn't unsee what he had seen, couldn't unhear the confessions she made to someone else. His love had been real, pure, unshakable, but now it wasn't enough. Love wasn't supposed to come with humiliation. Then, in the middle of that storm came tragedy. A close relative, someone like a brother, a son, a soul tethered to his heart, was killed in a sudden car accident. The world around him collapsed in silence. Grief swallowed him whole, and in the chaos of that pain, she tried to take over, claimed the right to organize a funeral, to grieve alongside him, to take charge of rituals that weren't hers to command. He told her no, pleaded with her to step back, but she didn't. She made decisions he didn't ask her to make, took control where she wasn't wanted, and to him, it felt like one more boundary violated. Even in mourning, she couldn't let him breathe. That was the moment he broke for good. He packed his things, took the ashes of his loved one, moved into a small apartment above the restaurant he owned. He gave his brother, who ran the bar, strict instructions not to let her through the door. She came anyway, called, messaged, accused him of being cruel, of shutting her out, of keeping her from grieving someone who had meant so much to her too. But he didn't respond. He didn't yell. He didn't cry. He simply blocked her. Everywhere. The silence that followed wasn't peaceful. It was painful, but it was necessary. It was the only way to reclaim what was left of his dignity. Her actions had scorched every last remnant of trust. She had opened the door to betrayal and expected him to walk through it with her. But he chose the opposite. He chose the door that led away, toward solitude, toward healing. The divorce was inevitable now, but he wasn't rushing it. Not yet. Right now. He needed time to grieve the dead, to grieve the marriage, to grieve the man he used to be. He didn't know what came next, but he knew one thing. He would rise again, on his terms, alone but not broken. Not anymore.